Peace and love, family. So today we are going to be doing a womb stimulation training. I'm going to give you guys some key points when it comes to womb stimulation, what it is, what herbs and oils that you can use, creams and things of that nature that you can use as an herbalist, as a healer. If you are doing like Yoni steaming services or any type of herbal services or, healing services, especially when it comes to the womb stimulation is going to be a very good add-on that you can add on as a service, or you can provide its own service all on its own and have your clients come in specifically just for that treatment. So what a womb stimulation is just another term for womb massage. If you are not a licensed massage therapist, you are not by law able to say that you do any type of massaging. It doesn't matter what it is. So as estheticians, we do it's all about the lingo, y'all, but we do like pressure point therapy and things like that. So here we would call this a womb stimulation, but it's just a womb massage, and we're using specific pressure points, specific techniques to do certain things. So just like with a pressure point therapy, we're targeting certain areas of the body so that they can loosen up if they're tense, or flush them out, whatever we need to do. So I'm just going to show you guys maybe like 5 different techniques to use that I use. Mind you, I don't do womb stimulations often, not just because I don't really provide services anymore, but mostly because it's not for every client. Let me take that back. It is for every client. Everybody can benefit. If you have a womb, man or woman, you can benefit from womb stimulation. So let me be clear on that. But when it comes to me providing it as a service, unless we have a specific issue that we're targeting together collectively, or together, at a part of your treatment, then you really wouldn't need to do for your clients. You can always tell them how to do it at home on their own, but you wouldn't necessarily need to know how to do womb stimulation or doing womb stimulations on your clients. So let's get right into it. I am not at home, so I am just doing this training right now because it was requested for me. So I'm going to use what I have here with me and show you guys just the techniques and give you guys like the terminology and things that you can use. Most importantly, this is a training. So if you have any questions, make sure that y'all drop them down below in the comments so that I can answer for you, because I am just doing, it's more like a refresher more so than a full training that's in detail. But y'all know I like to go into detail about certain stuff, so I'm gonna try to be quick. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and set up. All right, make sure y'all got a good view. So just for content purposes, this is a postpartum customer. She is, or model, she is 2 weeks postpartum. So I'm not going to be going into detail as far as what, going super pressure when I'm doing certain techniques. I'm just using her as a model so that y'all can see the gist of what I want to do, right? So the first thing you want to do is cover your client. So when you're covering your client, you want to make sure that their pelvic bone is actually out. So you want to make sure that they have all the way down so that you can get a good clear view of their uterus. And we know that the uterus is like right here, right? So you want to make sure that all of this is out, and also make sure that this is covered. You don't want them just to be all, cootie cat flying out. So you want to make sure that they are completely covered with a towel or a cloth or whatever, preferably a towel. Technically, if you really want to be specific with my trainings, you want to make sure that you have a towel over top of their clothes as well up here. But this is just a model, and should be all right. But you professionally don't do what I do. But if you have your clients here, you want to also make sure that you have a towel over top of their garments, because you don't want to get oil or nothing like that on their clothes either, because you oil it up, you pay for it, right? So you just want to make sure that you have all of this the pelvic area, and right above the abdomen. You want all of this area completely open and ready for you to do the stimulation. So when it comes to essential oils, there are a plethora of essential oils that you can use for this, but mainly you want to make sure that you're using specific oils to the reason why your client is coming in. Just for a rule of thumb, and again, this is more so of a refresher versus like a detailed training. So let me know if y'all want a detailed training so that I can actually do a video for that. But right now I'm just doing the basics. So for the basics, if you want to if you want to use a general essential oil, you want to use something like castor oil. That is good for digestion. You want to also use, or you can also use clary sage oil. That is very good for womb balance when it comes to hormonal balances and things like that. Clary sage is a really good essential oil that you can use as well as like geranium. The only thing with these is their contraindication if the person is trying to conceive. Geranium and clary sage, they're a little iffy when it comes to somebody who is pregnant. For sure, it is a contraindication. But if they are trying to conceive, you want to be careful with it because you don't want to overstimulate it. So I would personally maybe like dilute it or use it in my own personal blend. I never use essential oils you know, just straight how they are. Anyway, for one, essential oils are very, very toxic on the skin. You have to have a carrier oil. For me, I have my own oil. This is my own line. If y'all shop with me, y'all know I have my own glow serum and I have my own Yoni oil. So today I'm just going to use my Yoni oil because it already has for one, I can trust the ingredients that are in it because I know what I put in it and everything is safe for her to use. Another rule of thumb, if you are if you're using this just for an add-on service. So what I mean by add-on is maybe they came in for a Yoni Steam and they have something going on that you think that this will benefit them. You think that this will benefit them in their service, then you want to use something like maybe the citrus or peppermint oil. Those are really good oils as far as like boosting energy, for boosting your mood. You also could use, if your client is dealing with like low arousal or, you know, low libido, you want to also use something like sandalwood. That is a very, very good oil that you can use to increase your libido. You also can use lavender if you want your client to relax, calm, if they have some type of anxiety or anything, especially if they are trying to get pregnant. Lavender will be a very good oil that you want to use to calm their nerves. A lot of women who are trying to conceive are really anxious about it. But the thing about it, if you have a client who is trying to conceive, that what you're actually using, the oils that you use, you want to make sure that you're only performing this when they're ovulating. You don't want to do this when they are on any other cycle, one of the four, any of the 3 cycles of their period. You want to only do this if they're trying to conceive during the ovulation period. Other than that, you might throw things off. And then you know, I got a lot of other essential oils. I'm not gonna go into all of them, but pretty much if you don't know any better, and if you just want to do this for like an add-on service or something like that, and not specifically like treating a client, you want to stick to like castor oil or some type of citrus oil. You can never go wrong with those, and those are safe to use. So the first thing I'm gonna do, because I use my own blends, I'm just going to make sure, and you want to make sure that the area is clean first and foremost. I didn't do that, and I already got this in my hand, but again, this is just for demonstration purposes, so please don't quote me for, you know, any of the extra contraindications that I might be doing. But you just want to make sure that the area is clean. So you can use something like witch hazel, and if this is your client, you know, you want to make sure that you have of course you've already done like an intake form and things like that, making sure, you know, that they don't have any allergies or nothing like that. But you want to make sure that the area is clean before you go putting some oil on top of it. So the area has been cleaned. Then the next thing you want to do is just warm your oil up in your hands. Please don't be touching people's stomach with freezing cold hands, because as estheticians or healers or whatever, or anywhere that you're working, a lot of times if we're moving back and forth, we probably got the room really, really cold. Especially if you're doing yoni steaming, because it gets really hot when you're yoni steaming in a room. So you probably have the temperature really cold, so you might be cold or your hands might be cold, but you want to make sure that that your hands are not cold before you touch your client, because don't nobody want to get just shocked with your cold hands. And you can use a decent amount of oil. You can be stingy with the oil. I mean, don't be stingy with the oil, because nobody also wants your dry ass hands rubbing against their skin either. So make sure that you get a good lather going with the oil. And this is rule number 1. When it comes to any type of circular motion that we're doing, we're gonna move in clockwise direction. So it's this way. I just applied it the opposite way, but I didn't put any pressure while I was doing it. When we're actually doing any, like all these motions that I'm gonna teach you guys, you're gonna be using this in clockwise. The reason why we're doing that is because that is the way that the intestines go around your stomach. So your intestines are moving around just like this. Your outside of your intestines are moving around in this motion. So if we're trying to loosen up the digestive tract, if we're trying to do anything that is helping with digestion, we want to make sure that we're going in the direction of the colon to make sure that it is flushing or moving properly. So the first thing that you want to do, now that everything is applied, we want to start in the middle. We want to start around the navel, and then we're going to go on the outside. But we are loosening up. And since I have nails on, like I said, I don't perform services anymore, you guys. So I don't keep my nails short like as I would as an esthetician. But since I do have my nails, and some of you guys might have nails, or even if you don't have nails, this might be a better technique. But you can use either the palm of your fingers like this, or you can use your knuckles or your thumbs. I'm going to use my knuckles just because I don't want to be tickling her with my nails being really long. But I hope y'all can see. But you're going to go in a circular motion clockwise around the navel. And everything that I'm doing is 30 times. I'm not going to do the full 30 just because I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. But around, if you notice, right around the navel, I want to be very targeted. So I'm going to use like my fingertip. If you're doing it this way, you will use your 2 fingers and then go around the navel like this. And you're going to apply slight pressure. You're not just rubbing around. You want to make sure that you're applying a little pressure. And again, if you're using your knuckle, you can just use your index finger knuckle. And then as you go to the outside, you can use all 4 knuckles, or you can use your whole palm. And you're going to go slow around this process. Around the abdomen, you're going to go all the way around. And you're going to do this slowly all the way around. And again, this is 30 times. So if you're going to do this as an add-on, my personal opinion, I would not do this 30 times. I would do it slightly, maybe 15 times, or do, halfway, 15 times. And I would do the 30 if we're doing a full womb stimulation, like targeted, an actual targeted treatment. So that is the first thing, and this is what we're going to do always first. I personally always do this first just so that I can just loosen up everything and get it prepared for everything else we're about to do. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is the next technique that we're going to use is the uterine excuse me, the uterus stimulation. So put your hands in a triangle around your uterus. Perfect. So we know that the uterus is, when we make a triangle right above the navel right here, and where this triangle meets here, this is your uterus. So if you have your client hold this triangle right here, you want to get them, because again, we want them to do this at home on themselves as well. So we're teaching them, as educators, as the professional, we're always teaching maintenance, and we're always teaching them how to do whatever we're performing at home, so that they can keep up with the work that we're doing in the treatment. So the same thing with this. This is targeted area. We're gonna stimulate it right here in this circle area. We're targeting the uterus. And again, everything is in clockwise motion. And we're gonna do this 30 times. Okay, and then going from the uterus, we're going to go then to your ovaries. So, do you know where your ovaries are? Do you know? Right. So, that is your ovaries. Your ovaries are right here on the side where your hip bone is at. So, when we come to the ovaries, we want to make sure that we're also doing the circular motion at first, but then... But as we're doing the circular motion, you should probably do one at a time, just so you can get targeted area, because everybody might have a little jello. So you want to make sure that you get, you want to target the area. So if you're doing this side, you always want to make sure you do the same thing on both sides. But then after we do each isolated side, of course, again, this is 30 times. And I'm glad I did say that. I was just joking, but you will sometimes have clients who got a little extra stomach. So you won't be able to just do this with both hands. If they have a smaller torso, or flatter stomach, then you might be able to do massage both at one time, but it's no rush, right? They paying for the service. So slow down, don't rush through it. But if you do have somebody who's a little bigger, you want to make sure that you push their stomach up out of the way. And make sure that you're getting that uterus. You're getting the ovaries. And again, rule of thumb, 30 times with everything on both sides. And then you can go into your pelvic area. What you want to do, again, I'm just used to using the palm of my hand, but you can use your knuckle as well. You want to go from your pelvic area all the way around, and you're applying a little pressure here, but you're going to go all the way around. I'm typically on my bed where I can walk all the way around, but I'm just showing y'all what I can right now. And you're going to motion into the navel, going towards the navel, all the way around. And I'm going a little fast for this, actually, but you want to slow this process down. So from this motion, say you have a client with a tilted uterus, and this, like I said, she is 2 weeks postpartum. So to prevent tilted uterus, or if she might be feeling any pressure when it comes to her uterus being tilted, you want to apply pressure and just slide it up. And again, 30 times with all of these motions. Straight up. And this is how to help with balancing out the uterus if it has started to tilt because of pregnancy, because of obesity, or whatever reason your uterus is tilting. And then we can do some sweep motions. And you can go all the way around. And you don't have to, you talk to your clients, ask them, you know, is that too much pressure? And if it's not, you want to always gradually get a little bit deeper. So if it is a lot of pressure, then just ease up. But you just want to gradually go. And as you get a little deeper, you want to ask, you know, are you feeling, is this uncomfortable? Is this too much pressure? And then just adjust as they tell you to adjust. But we do want to apply a little bit of pressure, especially if the client has extra weight on their stomach, because we're trying to get down to the organs. At the end of the day, we're getting down to the organs. If you got a whole bunch of fat, then we still got to apply a little bit more pressure to get down to where you are. So keep that in mind when you're charging people stuff. Because if you got somebody with a whole bunch of belly and you doing this on them, I personally would add a fee on that. And I'm not even trying to be funny, because as y'all can see, I'm thick myself. So I would charge me if I was going to an extra fee if I was doing this, just off of the labor that it's going to require. All right. And then this is just 2 bonus techniques, but that's pretty much it, y'all. Like, you can do all of these. By the time you do each one of these 30 times and targeting certain areas, that'll be a good 20-30 minutes. So that's the basics when it comes to a womb massage. And your essential oils play a big part in this. So whatever essential oils that you're using should also coincide with whatever motions you're doing. You should know what you're doing with your client, right? So we're not just doing this randomly with anybody. You should already have an intake form. You should know what they're in there for. And you should be able to assess whatever contraindications might be with the oil, with whatever treatment that they're doing. You should be able to assess that as an expert. But yeah, 2 other techniques. One I have for fertility. This is, I don't even know. No, you know what? I'm not going to put that on here just because legally I wouldn't be able to. Well, again, we're not using the word massage. It's still a womb stimulation. But this is the femur massage. With that one, I'm just going to briefly, really quickly show y'all this. And I do mean quickly show y'all this. But if your client is struggling with fertility, the technique itself, so what you're going to do is, again, we only do fertility stimulation when the client is ovulating. That is the only time that we're doing fertility treatment when it comes to a stimulation. So with this one, this is the femur of the leg, or your femur in general. This is your femur. This is your femur. What we're going to do, or what the point of this is when you're ovulating, we're going to contract with that and make sure that, and we're going to do that, hold it for 45 seconds and then release it 3 times on both legs. So I'm going to do it real quick. So y'all can't say I tried to tell y'all to do some medical, but most of the time, clients get this type of treatment with actual massage therapists. They'll do that with like some midwives, some nurses do this as well. But I'm just showing you what the technique is, just so you can say, you know, you got it in your memory bank. But don't be doing it if you don't got no medical professional around or something like that. But what you're gonna do is just take your elbow and put it in their femur. And I'm not going to apply pressure here, but you normally would. So you would apply pressure into the femur and then pull with the knee, pull that knee back to you. And during this procedure, like, you're going to apply a little pressure, not too much, but apply a little pressure and pull their knee to you. You want to be shutting up during this process. You should not be talking and they should not be talking. You don't want any vibrations to go, because if you do, then they probably won't feel it. You probably won't feel it anyway, just because it's not being done on you. But the point of this is to contracted. It's pretty much contracting it. It's stopping the blood flow, and then your client should feel like a throbbing feeling. You want to make sure you're doing that for 45 seconds and then release, switch to the other leg, and do that 3 times. And that is how we get some fertility stimulation. And then the other little bonus is the fundal massage. So with the fundal massage, and again, we can't technically use that word in our trainings, but this is if you have a postpartum client and they are hemorrhaging, then this is what you would use for, this is the type of stimulation that you would use, or pressure point that you would use if they are hemorrhaging. So you want to press on the uterus around this area right here. You want to press down on that uterus, and then you're just going to pull. And you are applying pressure right here. This is not comfortable, especially if you are, right postpartum. This is kind of like what they do, like if you're giving birth. If you're giving birth, they do this to get the placenta out. Most of the time it's not comfortable for them, especially if they're getting it done in the hospital. But if a midwife is performing this, technically by law it's called a massage. So you probably would not, if you have another medical professional in front of you, they would probably want to do that. But if a midwife or someone or a doula, somebody is doing this, you will probably do it with more care. But it's still not comfortable for your client, but it shouldn't be painful. So if they are postpartum, especially like an hour or so postpartum, and you're trying to stop that bleeding, you're just pretty much putting a lot of pressure on the uterus to stop the bleeding. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope that was helpful. Let me know down in the comments if y'all have any questions regarding this. If y'all want me to go in detail a little bit more, because I definitely just gave y'all a quick run through and not too much detail. But I hope that all made sense to y'all. You should be doing this or recommending this to your clients or whatever regularly, the same way we do like breast exams for ourselves, like in the shower and stuff. They should be doing this on themselves. Like, it's at least the basic motion of the circular motion and clockwise around their womb. This is something that you can do on your own. Say if you are constipated, certain herb, like I said, with the castor oil or some ginger oil, doing that on yourself will help to make the flow to your intestines and make you have a bowel movement if you are constipated or your stomach is not feeling well. And again, you can do these on men and women. Everybody has a stomach, everybody has intestines, and it can work with both of them. So I hope this information was helpful. Let me know if it was, and go out and massage some wombs or stimulate some wombs.